Turning my CRF300L into an adventure bike. We've done dual sport things with our CRF300L. We've done supermoto things with our CRF300L. We've even done full-on enduro stuff with our CRF300L. But now it is time to do something that's not been done yet, adventure stuff. It's not completely true, I actually did a whole day trip, but more hardcore adventure stuff than we've done before. I'm talking about an over week-long trip where I'm gonna leave here in the Dallas, Texas area and go all the way out to the Mojave Desert, ride around out there and come all the way back, living off the motorcycle. And it's like trial by fire because we have days before I need to leave. For anyone who's concerned with the CRF300L's ability to do such a long trip, I will remind you that they do sell a factory rally version of this bike. People have been riding those all around the place. I mean, Itchy Boots has been coming up from South America on hers and is going to take it all the way to Alaska. So she's done more miles than I will probably ever done already on hers. So I'm not concerned with that. There's a lot to do. I've got boxes and boxes of stuff in here. I think the first thing we want to mess with, tires. I see my dirt setup is still rocking these. What are these? These were Metzler's, I believe. These tires are sick, but they're non-DOT. This is not a tire for the road. So the tires we're gonna put on here though, they're gonna have a heck of a lot of duty, right? I mean, they gotta run all that road trip there and back and work in the desert. But I kept having this one brand brought up to me time and time again, the Moto Z tires from Australia. I had numerous people tell me they had amazing luck with Moto Z tires. And then huge shout out to my my buddy at Nelson Rig, who we also got a bunch of great stuff from them. We're gonna put on here. I actually have a discount code for Nelson Rig. I put it here on the screen. We'll talk more about that when we're doing the Nelson Rig stuff. But he, again, was like, you need to get these Moto Z tires, and put me in contact with them, and they sent me these tires. All the way from down under, mate. They got that good smell about them. Yep, fairly aggressive tread, thick tread. I think I'll keep the heavy duty tubes I have, and I think I'm gonna try to run the rim locks, even though a lot of people don't like to run those on the street, but you can. I've set up numerous bikes with them. Just gotta balance them. Just gonna put a lot of weights on, but I'm gonna attempt to do that. We're gonna bust out our machine again. It's a wheel. We're going to balance our wheel. Oh, there's no point in balancing a dirt wheel. Bro, I'm gonna drive across the country and back with. I want a balanced wheel. I've gotten a couple of these kits thanks to Revzilla. These are these brass wheel weights, reusable wheel weights. This is really cool. Normally these were like a lead weight that you would put over the spoke and you'd press it down and you'd lick it real good and make sure the lead was nice and sticky. Don't do that. Now you got this cool thing. It's brass. It's got a little like screw that locks it in. It's a whole thing. We can balance our wheel and we can keep these when we're done, which is really cool. We let the wheel go on something like a truing stand, and as you can see, it's gonna rock down and the heaviest point's gonna be at the bottom. So we need to add the weight directly above it. So let's start with one of the big boys. It's gonna at least need one of these. All right, so we put one of those on there. Let's see if that makes a difference. Nope, this is still the heavy spot. Still falling that way.
Okay, I mean,
I'm gonna also say for a rear, this is what you'd call close enough. So I'm gonna go around just giving these a little extra snug down. I don't think they need to be crazy tight. Matt, you've ridden around with these. They don't fly off, right?
they were on the Husky for the Red River.
There you go. Centrifugal force is always throwing them down. I feel like if this screw ever did get loose and one of these fell off, I don't think it's gonna fling off its speed. It'd be like you'd stop somewhere and it would yeah, it would fall off.
Or if your bike's upside down.
Sometimes that happens. That's what you call basically there. I'll snug these down and rims will be done, ready to go. But first, a quick word from our sponsor, Omaze. If you remember a few videos back, we partnered with Omaze to give you a chance to win the DeBerti Ford Bronco, and that helps support a great cause, the Wounded Warriors Project. Well, if you didn't sign up last time, there is still time left, but you need to get on it. My link is still active. That's omaze.com/JakeSnake. And when you do enter, be sure to use code JakeSnake100. Why would you do this? Because it's gonna give you 100 extra entries, just sweetening the deal for you. You don't wanna miss out on it. This Bronco is really, really cool, and you're supporting a really great cause, the Wounded Warriors Project. So don't wait, do it now. It closes July 9th. But that's omaze.com/JakeSnake, code JakeSnake100. Do it now. Remember our rack here that we got from T-Rex Racing? Well, we want to run this, of course. One of the things I particularly want to do with it is mount one of my Rotopax on there. Because if you notice, the Rotopack is the perfect size. They actually have some holes in it, which I was really hoping were gonna be the right size. No, this is for like a top box. No worries, Revzilla, who set me up with all the Rotopack stuff, sent me out some new stuff here, and what we need to do is basically mark and drill to add this. In fact, what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a double one on here, so it's gonna be double stacked. This is the plate that you would use to mount onto something. I don't really need this plate though. I mean, I could mount the plate and then mount this on top, but it just seems like extra redundancies that aren't really important when you can just mount this right on. So I can use this plate here as kind of a template. Nice. Putting some Loctite on them, a good amount, because I don't see any reason for this mount to ever come off. So we've reinstalled our rear rack. I've already got a video about this whole rear rack, and so just to avoid the redundancy, I didn't want to like refilm all that. We'll put the Rotopack and all that stuff on here in a minute. I've actually got the bolts still loose because, well, let me explain another thing. You see, the luggage situation for this bike, I don't want to put big carrying bags hanging off the side. I want to keep it, you know, still somewhat as a lighter adventure bike, a dual sport machine. Thinking about what we could run there. You guys know I've worked with Nelson Rig in the past, and they actually sent me a set of their Venture In saddlebags. They're gonna hang right off the side here. It's a really cool option. Those will basically hang on these side plastics, right? These side plastics, at least on the CRF, are really flexible. And it made me a little worried about having a bag sitting on these all the time. Up here they're fine, but back here they're really flimsy. Even when I had the toolbox on there, I found it just to be kind of flimsy. It's the same on both sides, and the other side's even worse because, well, we've got the exhaust. And we don't want bags just resting on the exhaust. Now, Nelson Rig did send me one of their heat shields, and we could put that on there, but we still have to deal with the flimsy plastic. I wanted to be able to push those bags back as far as I can without burning them, without them breaking these plastics. I don't want to get full-on pannier racks. I don't need those big old things. I just wish there was some kind of slim option that would come in here and just give me a little bit of support. I'm perusing the Instagram on the hashtag 300L thing, and look what I found. Little company known as Adventure Spec, maybe you've heard of them, literally makes the exact thing I was thinking about. I mean, what a great item. Check this out. This weighs like all nothing. It's gonna mount down here and it's gonna sit just like this. So we don't need a heat shield at all. Push our bags all the way back. In fact, it's funny, I brought it up to the guys at Nelson Rig. I was trying to get these racks from Adventure Spec, and they go, oh, those things are great. You can run the saddlebags way back and get a lot of leg room. I was like, see, they already know. They knew what was up with these. They know that these are a great item. So I reached out to Adventure Spec. They were courteous enough to actually shoot me out a pair of these, and they just came out for the 300. Perfect timing. We're gonna bolt them on. I do have a little bit of a tricky thing I gotta figure out because I need to incorporate them in with the T-Rex rack. Their system uses the same mount point, and they have a whole system that works with their own rack. We'll figure it out. Let's get them on there. They say you gotta pull this side panel off, but I say that's for suckers. So this is where the passenger peg used to go, and we're going to use, that's their mounting point. If you actually have the stock exhaust, what I'm doing actually might be incredibly difficult because with the stock exhaust, very tight right here, but with the aftermarket one, I got a lot of room in here actually. It's not a big deal. It's gonna be one of those situations I think where you gotta leave most of this loose until it's all in position. We'll leave it. I'm gonna use their bolt, which is the same exact kind of bolt, just a pinch longer, and that works out for us just fine. All right, that's loose. This is easy, I love this. See there, you got plenty of room. Your luggage is not gonna get hot. Well, what can I say? I love it. Let's tighten everything up. I need to tighten these back ones because I haven't done that. Man, y'all see the power fluctuate there? That was my wife turning the vacuum on. We got a freaking badass vacuum. All right, anyway. Nice. Loving it. Adventure Spec racks integrated in with the T-Rex racks. Sorry, there's probably people from both companies rolling in their graves that they're not in yet. But I mean, like, look, we made it work. I can say that this bracket probably would look, it would probably look a little better if it was tucked behind the other rack here. There's room to do that, and the whole thing could come in a pinch more. It's all possible. What I would have to do though is cut this spacer down a little bit. It's fine. I mean, this is all incredibly rigid, nice. Here, let's go look over at the other side. Adventure Spec. Oh, look at that with the Black Widow. Some British companies, pinkies out.
No.
You want to put a Rotopack on? Let's see how that integrates with the seat. Oh, I'm so good. Look at that. It's like I really know what I'm doing. If we're just gonna run the single, you'd run this guy right here. This just screws in and locks down. But this is our extension. Look at this too. The whole bike's red, white, and blue. So this is just perfect here. And if you think this is too much weight, I mean, I keep in mind that like 1 gallon each. This is like 16 gallons of fluid. If we add all the other stuff in, probably like 20 something pounds. I think you got to keep in mind that like this back of this thing is meant to hold a passenger. They definitely beefed up the subframe on these. If you look at the old 250Ls, they have the detachable subframe. They tend to have snapping issues. I think it's much more beefed up now. And look at this, we're actually getting some strength tied in from our adventure rack. I mean, that is geometry's in there. It's taking up some of the back part of this weight. Well, there you go. Double Rotopax, literally that easy. Oh yes, good morning. It's the next day. Oh, look at that. Oh, looking very adventure-y like this. I love it. Remember Adventure Spec, they gave us our side racks. They sent me another item too. They make a bunch of stuff for the 300. This is like a fly screen. It's gonna go right up here. A little bit of a wind deflector, okay? And it's more than just a little wind deflector. Mounting bracket here, which gives us a place to mount things to. I want to put my GPS up on here, block a bit of wind, give me a great place to mount some stuff. My first time seeing anything from Adventure Spec, you know, so we put the racks on yesterday, the side racks, and I'm seeing this. Everything very well made, great welds. Well, the internet, there's no such thing as a great weld to the internet. So the way this thing mounts is it mounts directly to our triples right here. We already have something utilizing this spot, our hand guards. The other thing about this I've noticed is they built it really, really snug to be like a very nice tight fit against this headlight. Now here's the thing. If you've been following this series and you know what we did to our headlight, the entire bracket that holds the shroud and everything has been remade to have our giant Baja in here. Great headlight, love it. The problem with that is it kind of slightly moved everything a little bit, just enough to where this is not perfect. It's one of those things you would never notice unless you had some device that was really meant to fit tightly against it. So I did some measuring in there, and for me, with my setup, I figured I basically needed this bolt, but 3.5 inches. I thought that was gonna be tricky to find, but no, literally I have an Ace Hardware up the street from me. I don't know if you guys have Aces. I love Aces. I mean, literally, it's the same amount of threaded area, the same shank, and we also needed 1-inch spacers. So these are stainless, these are zinc, almost $30 in hardware, but oh, look at that. That's gonna work just fine. There we go. I've got them all started. Yeah, my wife came out here a second ago. I was showing her how this whole thing looks. She's like, oh my God, that's just ugly. I'm like, look, it's adventure stuff, okay? Functionality over form at times, and that's fine. Quite solid. I think what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna try to figure out how I'm gonna mount the GPS, because any wires I wanna run up behind it, I guess it's better to do it now. This is my Garmin GPS sort of base plate, right? Look what they give you, a GPS base plate. I knew this was in here, but I didn't realize it's the exact bolt pattern of our Garmin GPS base plate. I'm gonna use that. That's really, really cool for me. All right, we've got our base plate mounted on here, our Garmin, and we have an option here. They've made the hole so you can do it either or. We can put it this way or this way. I think maybe this is gonna be the way to go. So now I'm just trying to figure out a place to mount the radio. I've got a 3D printed holder that'll work with my extended battery with this radio coming. Our buddy Rivet's making it. Everyone knows Rivet in the Discord. Y'all need to jump in there and hang out with that guy. I'm gonna have this plate, it's gonna go to a ram mount ball. And so I'm thinking I've got this one just on a bolt. There's plenty of room right here on this plate, so I may drill a hole. Imagine that would get me my radio about there. And I kind of checked this with the fairing just a second ago. No problem, about right there. So there it is, all mounted up. That's gonna be great. Like I have a very command rally cockpit here. So obviously there's a bit of a gap in here. You didn't have the crazy spacing in here like I do. It'd be a little cleaner. I don't think it's gonna stop the functionality of it. It's still gonna work as a wind deflector, help knock some wind over me. Let's talk about luggage. What I've got right here are the Nelson Rig Trails End Adventure saddlebags. Thank you, Nelson Rig. You guys reached out to me after I did my first big crazy adventure and got me set up with some really cool stuff from you all. Discount code right there. Check that out, that will save you money, it'll make me $1 or $2, and everyone's just happy. Idea of these kind of bags, as you can see, it's meant to be sort of this rackless system. It would go over, you don't need any racks. The bag itself is a very tough material. It's got a water resistantness to it. It's not full waterproof, but I'm gonna put stuff inside here. Probably gonna be in a small dry bag its own self. These bags, like I said, are designed to do this sort of rackless system. We actually do have a rack here, and I don't think there's any reason to have these straps go over. I'm pretty sure I can just rig this up somehow and just strap it directly to this. I mean, it is like the same size. Like so. This is a strap that kind of zigzags up around the whole thing and clips up at the end. You would secure tight to kind of pull it all together and back out the way it came. And it's very easy to simply take it and run it through there on the frame. That's gonna keep it from doing any of that motion. Pretty dang secure. I mean, when we have luggage in it, we can actually really hunk it down, it'll be good. You got your expansion piece is gonna come out. I'm sure you're gonna see that as soon as it's loaded up. It's gonna probably be in the expanded state. I put one of my 10-liter dry roll bags just on the back here. This is good because this is like a backrest right here. I'll try to keep clothes and stuff, sleeping bags, soft things in there so I can just kind of lean up against it. It's really nice. I could even throw one higher, and because I've got 2 of these. That would give me an additional, you know, between the 2 of them, that would be 20 extra liters, 30, I think, between the sides. That's a good amount of storage right there. That should do us pretty good. You know what? This bike doesn't have enough bags. It's not adventure-y enough. So I got another one here. Check this out. Trails in Light tank bag. They've also got a big heavy-duty one. Just goes right there. It's really nice to have a bag right there up on the tank. That's where I usually keep all my camera stuff and phone and other crap like that I don't want hard to get to. Whoa, that pocket opens big. I'm used to these pockets only opening a little bit and you have to like shove your phone in there. It's a real pain or whatever you're gonna shove in there. That's got a whole, nice. Little rain cover right here. These are gonna be water resistant. Here you actually have a little spot to run a cable into so you can charge all your devices in here. If you know how I'm running it on my FZ, I actually have to run the cable up and just kind of sticking it between the 2 zippers. This will be a lot cleaner. We'll actually run cable into this and have power in here so we can charge all our USB things while we're on the roll. But of course, to do that, we need to figure out a way to run power. This was the power cable that I came up with for the FZ-07. It's just got one of these simple automotive little connectors. Gives me 1 USB and then a cigarette lighter. I also keep one of those things that turns that into 3 USBs. So I can have up to 4, but I think it's actually good to have the cigarette lighter thing because there are random things that use that. Run that through my bag. Velcro's back shut too, which is nice. So you know it's gonna be a pretty secure fit. I'll just have this in the bag. So all I need to do now is establish somewhere on the bike to hook this up. And first of all, I should say this bike has an auxiliary switch powered fused switch under the dash. If you go back and watch the video where we initially installed the GPS on this bike, the first time I installed it, we tapped into that. Now you may say, why not just tap into it again? Well, we're already using that to run a couple things at this point. It's the switcher for the relay for the main headlights. It also is giving positive power so that my turn signals are also running lights. It's a whole thing with that. And now it's also powering the GPS. So I don't know if I want to keep sticking stuff on there, you know, but check this out. I ran the cable up to the front here, down into the fairing, without even taking too much stuff off. I was very easy able to tuck it across, bring it up, and it comes up right here. When we installed the tail light had its own incorporated license plate light. So we had this sort of redundant plug, and I did hang on to the plug, which I've got right here. I went and picked up another one of these, wire it to our little connector right here. And the benefit to this will be is this is switch power on a fuse. What's not to love? Just like that, we got a thing. Yeah, there's a good little gap right there for some stuff. I can just sit down in there. Right, and I've plugged in my cigarette lighter thing that gives me 3 USBs. If we've done this correctly, oh, there you go, look at that. There you go, that's good. Awesome. So that's exactly what we need to get a little power so we can have power. I don't know why I said it that way. I'm gonna stick the bike back together and we'll actually then properly mount this. It's very easy. Here's one of our straps. It's got 2 male connectors. We got our 2 female connectors right here. This is the one that's gonna wrap up under the frame. Looks like I can get just under the bump stop right there. We wanna make sure we're not interfering with the bump stop. Oh, that's all right. Pretty straightforward. You just plug them in, or clip them in, I should say. And then we will pull them tight. Now before I pull them all the way tight and secure the slack, let's go hook up the other end because that's important too. So our other strap just has one of the old loops on the end here that we will loop around something and it clips in. Pretty simple. So we just gotta find somewhere here on the frame. On the frame right here, at this point, there's like a motor mount point or something, some kind of welded tab. So if we put it here, it won't slide any further than this point. So I think that could be a good candidate for what we're doing. Now with everything strapped up, we can start snugging all this down. There we go, we got our tank bag, that's awesome. Whenever you want to get gas, imagine the bike's going to be leaning in that direction, so probably just undo the 2 on this side and just kind of let this thing kind of ride like that. No big deal. Get done getting your gas, pull it back over. Simple enough. So look at that. We got the tires, the windscreen thingy, GPS. There's some other things I haven't told you about yet, like this little radio setup. We're gonna mess it up. I'm gonna wait till I know a little bit about that to make a video on that. But we've got all our Nelson Rig stuff on here. Shout out to Nelson Rig, shout out to Adventure Spec, Moto Z, Revzilla. Looking pretty properly set up there. Finish up, there's probably 1 or 2 other small things I need to do on the bike. and I need to start looking through all the camping stuff I have. Moto Camp Nerd, awesome, sent me a great deal of cool stuff. Because about as soon as we're done with that, it's gonna be about time to go. You know when you see those people that go to like SEMA and all these other events, and they're always like a last minute scrambling to get their car together, and you're like, why? How could they be so unorganized? I get it. It's crazy. Hey, you know this video came out on Patreon already. It's awesome. It's ad-free, censor-free. But the best part of it, the very best part, probably don't advertise enough, our Discord. You gotta join our Patreon so you have the Discord community. We have so much fun in there. It's such a cool community. I want you to get in there and hang out with us. It's a great time. I'm gonna jump in there actually probably right now. So till next video, woo! Whatever you do, I don't know.
No.